If you've ever walked through a museum, in the Egyptian wing, or even just scrolled through pictures of tombs online, you've seen it. It's this color code that's just everywhere. The men are painted this deep, sort of reddish brown, and the women are almost always this pale, creamy yellow. And it's so consistent that for years, people just figured, well, that's what they look like, a literal census.
It's a really logical assumption to make,
Yeah.
but it's also a trap. You're trying to read theology as if it's biology. The great thing is today we don't have to guess. We're doing a deep dive on two huge pieces of evidence. There's a landmark 2017 DNA study from mummies at Abu Zir el-Malek and the brand new 2025 sequence of an individual we call Nuerat.
So we're basically putting the paint on the tomb walls side by side with the DNA from inside the bones to see what the biological reality actually was.
Exactly. And the first step is to decode the art itself. That standard canon, red men, yellow women. It wasn't about who got more sun. It was about duality, a core concept. Mot, or order, versus chaos. Male versus female. That color difference wasn't a suntan, it was a uniform.
And the best proof of that has to be Queen Hatshepsut, right? I mean, when she became pharaoh, she didn't just break tradition, she literally changed her skin in the art.
Precisely. To show her authority as a ruler, she was often depicted with that dark red, male skin tone. It was a political statement, not a change in her actual complexion. Just like Queen Amos Nefertari is often shown with jet black skin, that wasn't her melanin. Black was the color of resurrection, of the fertile Nile soil.
Okay, so the art is a symbolic code. Got it. If we want the actual truth, we have to look at the genetics. So let's dig into that 2017 study. They got DNA from mummies over a 1,300-year span, which I hear is incredibly difficult.
It is, yeah. And the results were very surprising to a lot of people. The sample showed a really strong genetic link to ancient populations in the Near East.
Right.
We're talking the Levant, Anatolia, and even Neolithic Europe. They were genetically quite distinct from populations further south in Africa at that time.
And didn't they narrow it down to specific biological markers? I remember seeing a gene mentioned called SLC24A5. Why is that one so important?
SLC24A5 is, well, it's a huge piece of the puzzle. It's a specific gene mutation. There's a primary driver of lighter skin pigmentation in humans, and it was present in those ancient samples. So genetically speaking, these specific individuals likely had lighter skin than that dark red convention suggests.
But we have to be careful not to, paint the whole civilization with one brush, pun intended, because the new 2025 data on this Nuerat individual, he's much older, Old Kingdom, and he tells a bit of a different story.
He adds necessary complexity for sure. The Nuerat genome shows a mix. He was about 80% local North African Neolithic, but he already had about 20% ancestry from the Eastern Fertile Crescent. And the phenotype prediction, what his DNA says he looked like, pointed to brown eyes, brown hair, and a darker, more swarthy skin tone.
So even 4,500 years ago, Egypt was already a genetic crossroads. There was already diversity.
Exactly. But here is the massive twist that usually trips people up. We look at modern Egyptians, and you see this incredible spectrum of skin tones. And the online argument is often that Egypt became lighter over time, due to Greek, Roman, or Arab invasions.
Right, the whole idea that the ancient population was replaced.
Well, the DNA tells the exact opposite story. Modern Egyptians actually have significantly more ancestry from sub-Saharan Africa than the ancient mummies did.
Wait, hold on. That feels completely backward. You're saying the population has become more genetically African over time, not less.
Significantly so. We're talking about an 8 to 15% increase in sub-Saharan nuclear ancestry in the modern population compared to the ancients.
So when did that shift happen?
It's actually pretty recent in the grand scheme of things. The data suggests most of this gene flow happened after the Roman period, so within the last 1,500 years. It was driven by the expansion of trans-Saharan trade, increased mobility down the Nile, things that came with the Islamic expansion.
That really messes with the modern debates we see everywhere. That blackwashing versus whitewashing binary.
It makes the binary argument totally useless. The data shows both things are true. There's genetic continuity. Modern Egyptians are the descendants of the ancients, but the population has also evolved. They weren't replaced by invaders from the north. They interacted more with populations from the south.
It's just a powerful reminder that DNA is a living historical record. It's capturing trade routes, migrations, politics, all the things art, which is often propaganda, can't show us.
And that record never, ever stops writing itself. Identity isn't static. It's a flowing river.
Which leaves you with a final thought to chew on. If our DNA right now is recording our current era of globalization, trade, and travel, What kind of confusing genetic snapshot are we creating for archaeologists to puzzle over in another 2,000 years?
Thanks for listening to this deep dive.